do have a future with the Chemical Workers Union because the chemical workers are on the go. Our nation's top leaders have recognized the key role we're playing. Here's what the late President John F. Kennedy told our 1960 convention.
We will require the cooperation of the members of the Chemical Union. We will require the cooperation of the leadership of this union. The kind of studies which you are undertaking today. I think that those of you who are members of this important union recognize that the 60s are going to bring your union's problems because it's going to bring the United States many industrial changes and many problems which will affect your union and also affect the men and women who work in the chemical industry.
Yes, the chemical workers, nearly 100,000 strong, U.S. and Canada, know the problems of job security in our society. We hold bargaining rights with all the major chemical companies and at plants where automation was a fact long before the word was coined. Chemical Workers' headquarters are in Akron, Ohio. It is from here that field activities are guided, reinforced, and coordinated. The flow of communication with 9 regional offices and 400 local unions is unceasing. Letters are carefully routed, copied, and given prompt reply. The chemical workers know that an informed member is a good member. Each month, every member receives the union's newspaper, the International Chemical Worker, with full accounts of activities on all levels. Manuals assisting local unions in their many functions are also sent out regularly. Highly mechanized office equipment assures efficient handling of local union financial reports. The end of a headquarters day means full bags of outgoing mail. At headquarters building are the legal department, the research, education, health and safety department, the public relations department. Staff conferences with President Walter L. Mitchell and Secretary-Treasurer Marshall Schaefer channeled the efforts of the union specialist. Where a local union faces special problems, a crucial arbitration or a legal question, for example, appropriate help is given. The chemical workers are the largest chemical union in Canada, with 15,000 members. A Canadian Director of Research and Education assists the Canadian Vice President in arranging summer schools and institutes. In Ontario, Canada, the chemical workers operate White Sands, a scenic, spacious training center for members and staff. Its facilities are shared by other Canadian unions, and it plays host to union delegations from abroad. Each quarter, the International Executive Board meets to review, to discuss, to plan policy on the basis of reports from staff specialists like the Chemical Workers Washington representative. Board members generally serve as regional directors, supervising the work of the union's nearly 100 field representatives, heading up organizing campaigns, assuring that proper attention is given each of the union's more than 600 bargaining units. Here's what one knowledgeable observer says about the job we're doing. Walter P. Ruther, president of the AFL-CIO Industrial Union Department.
What we've got to do is to get the American labor movement to commit its resources in a measure equal to the dimensions of the organizational challenge. And I want to take this occasion to thank Walter Mitchell and the officers of your union for their contribution to the success of what we have done to date and their pledge to continue to support this effort. if every union in the American labor movement would to assume that kind of a constructive, cooperative attitude that the leadership of your union has taken, then I believe we can get the American labor movement marching forward on the organizational front.
The chemical workers believe every worker deserves a decent break, and so our union willingly signed its pledge of cooperation with the President's Committee on Equal Employment Opportunity. We were one of the first unions to set up a civil rights committee.
President Mitchell, I congratulate you and the members of the International Chemical Workers Union. In signing this pledge, this plan for progress, you are reaffirming a practice of long-standing of the Chemical Workers Union, that there can be no such thing as rights just for a few. There must be equal rights for all, or there is no democracy.
Democracy and justice for long exploited workers was the goal of the chemical workers' strike at the Scripto plant in Atlanta, Georgia, where the 750 Negro employees had been denied job rights and a chance of promotion and were paid only $1.25 an hour. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. lent his support to the strike effort.
And we can get much more through an organized effort than we can get through individual effort. Every Negro and every white person up to Scripto ought to be supporting the labor union. And it's no accident Scripto is fighting not to deduct the wage dues from the salaries of the individual. It's no accident because they don't want a labor union up there, because they know they've got to treat you right.
With the aid of the civil rights movement and other AFL-CIO unions, we won that strike. The chemical workers have more than $1 million in a strike fund that pays guaranteed benefits to established local unions which find it necessary to strike.
I am confident that your union will continue to march in the path of equal opportunity. And nothing that has happened to me since I became president has given me more hope for the future and more pleasure for the present.
Our union has achieved a firm organizational and political structure. We have negotiated contracts, successfully waging strikes where necessary to attempt to provide our members with economic benefits more nearly appropriate to the booming high-profit chemical industry. But we would be remiss if we rested content with our present situation.
And you can play an increasingly important role, not only in advancing the economic well-being and the interest of your own membership and their families, but helping the whole labor movement move forward with broad, bold action. And only as we, I think, can get the labor movement marching again, can we be the kind of force we must be in our free society.
It takes a long time to rile us up, and sometimes it seems as though that you can walk over us and everything will be all right. But it seems as though we have to tell them that we've come from a long, long way, and there's nothing they can give us that we haven't already received. We have walked also through the dim nights of serfdom, but now we've been able to stand at the bottom of the hill, and then we've walked up the rocky sides of union organization, and it's been too hard and too long for us to give up unions now.
Those who are satisfied with things as they are, those who wish to stand still, those who look back to the good old days, I don't think think they should come with us in the 60s. But those who want to move this country, those who think we can do better, those who think that there are better days still ahead, those who think that it's time that the government and the people devoted themselves to the great unfinished business of our society, as Franklin Roosevelt did in his administration, and Wilson in his, and Harry Truman in his. I hope they come with us. We don't promise an easy future.
The chemical workers don't promise an easy future. But we promise you a full voice with a full share in a union that has a future, an important future. So meet your responsibilities. Support the International Chemical Workers Union.